that's at this point something we're consistently talking about. TTK, huge eye of Agamotto's. We've seen, Harvey got a MVP with Loki yesterday, and we haven't seen a lot of Loki in this tournament. So again, they're coming through with stuff that maybe is taking a backseat in the current meta and finding a ton of value. So we are going to see if they can stack up against the Titans of FlyQuest, and I think this could be a fun one.
Yeah, this could be a fun one for sure. I mean, this team, 100 Thieves, is land tested. Interestingly enough, Shib, and FlyQuest at the current moment isn't, right? That is maybe one of the more interesting things that I think that you brought up also earlier, which is like getting that shot of adrenaline, right? It's something that can help you in some cases because, for 100 Thieves case, right, they went to land first. They went to the midseason. They got to experience in person with commentators, with a crowd. FlyQuest haven't had that yet, Shib. And, sometimes that can sort of be like land hangover, where like you come back and you're like, oh man, we're back to the online space, no more crowd, live audience in front of us. How do you react? How do you adapt? The 100 Thieves in this case, they're trying to make that top 2, top 1 run in North America yet again. In FlyQuest, this is their first time, with these odds stacked in their favor. I mean, it's definitely a different sort of situation than any of their players have experienced before.
Yeah, absolutely. Speaking of the LAN, again, to reiterate, Envy, 100 Thieves, FlyQuest, and Dark Zero will all be making an appearance there. It is official, which is a crazy thing to say. That is going to be so exciting as we look down again, locking in that Ultron. That was something we witnessed a lot over, throughout the entirety of Stage 2, but definitely a lot yesterday. Both teams feeling confident on that hero. And we will see that Mantis ban, which typically pairs well with Ultron. That damage boost is a big threat, but outside of that, enables a lot of those one-shot combos. And yeah, strategy here for 100 Thieves once again.
Yep, focusing on those heroes, maybe allowing Torch to get through if FlyQuest want to play it. I don't know how much they've been able to play it so far. I don't think it's that much. Maybe 100 Thieves have a read in that department, but you'd always have that last ban to work with. Now that you've banned out Mantis and Jeff, they obviously don't want to play against that Jeff. But Adam Warlock's still getting through for 100 Thieves, and we've seen how good Delena was on that Adam Warlock yesterday. It's kind of like with in that interview we had a second ago with Korova talking about baiting out bans, sometimes, or baiting out protects even, with the Ultron Protect this time around. We already know that they like to play Star-Lord, and that's definitely something they could always flex onto. Meanwhile, or not sorry, Adam Warlock. And meanwhile, on the opposite side, FlyQuest, they get to keep onto Star-Lord instead of focusing on the Torch.
Yeah, that's a scary thing to see. Star-Lord right now is incredibly impactful, definitely up there at the top of the quote-unquote tier list, especially at this level of play. That, and having that 25 additional overhealth every juke really does add up. But not only that, one of the fastest ult gains in the game, while still having the survivability of those escapes with those iframes, and then getting that ult and just forcing out strategist line ultimates, which in this current meta, that is a huge thing you're looking for. So just one of the strongest heroes being able to do that. But if you look down at the current moment, I guess they could, and I don't think we've seen a lot of Fly running Torch, but that is available for them as well.
Yeah, exactly. They're sort of like testing him into playing that. And we also have a Rocket Raccoon protected ban for the first time, I'm pretty sure, this tournament. I mean, that's insane. First of all, that Rocket Raccoon, talk to us a month ago, Shib. How many of us are saying that Rocket Raccoon is going to be in the meta? Today, we're going to see it again.
Well, yeah, I mean, coming up in this new patch that's out currently right now for all of us who are playing the game, that 40% damage boost, that goes back to OG Rocket for those who have been around for, let's say the early seasons of the game, even the beta. Rocket's ult would give you 40% damage boost. It was changed, I believe, let's say season 2, can't give you the exact patch, where it goes down to 20%, but instead it also gives you healing. Now it's not only going to maintain that healing value, but back to the 40%. So it's going to enable a ton of combos, and we might see Rocket more so even in the meta than what we're seeing right now with that ban and protect. And again, like you're saying, that is definitely one of the few times we've seen that even right now in Stage 2.
Yeah, it's some great advice, I think, to a lot of people that are, learning the game, trying to figure things out. On top of everything you mentioned, too, he's like one of those mobile characters, right? And that's something that we noticed, I feel like, a month ago, Shib. Remember when people were like experimenting, with Rocket Raccoon and stuff and seeing how good he actually is. And now he's sort of full-fledged been in the meta alongside Jeff and Ultron in this case. Just play these heroes that are hard to sort of dive, at least the ones that can last the longest, right? That's why they're also running Invisible Woman. On the opposite side, FlyQuest is going for full firepower, man. Like, they're just going straight up Luna Snow, Cloak and Dagger for a ton of healing on top of the Terra Cape, and just want to set up energy mainly on these hard engages with that Blaster Barrage.
Yeah, we've seen this before here for 100 Thieves, and that is going around that Ultron and Jeff combo. Millennia going to be on the Jeff here. This is very much a good Jeff position with the off-map being so close, and obviously Ultron going to be matched by Vision and Delena. We're going to start off these fights early. Vision looking at the high side, going to try to start that battle with Delena, see who is the better robot. The dive goes in here for Spark Chief, going to take the high side now and look directly at the strat back line, and again, that will be some early pressure, but again, nothing too major in these fights, more so stalling, just feeling each other out. And, these nerves are going to be through the roof right now, but there is definitely a sigh of relief knowing that you'll make that land.
Yeah, energy in the sky. You're right. Yeah, there's some pressure off, and maybe that makes one team play better than the other, right? We could definitely see something like that happen. Maybe 100 Thieves with a little bit less pressure on their backs, too. Maybe get a show a little bit more out of their, potential sort of playthroughs. At the moment, we already see Vision starting off with that Ultron's Rage met by the Ensong Inferno, but no elimination just yet. Just Ultimate's built.
Yeah, we'll start again. Like you're saying, just alts get launched. Rage of Ultron goes out. Eternal Bond going to be matched here from Zelos. Going to walk them forward. Cooper holding onto that dance floor as well. A very impactful ult in the back line. And outside of that, Luna can deal a ton of damage in her own right. But out we go again. Matched by Harvey with the invisible boundary. TTK trying to get a few trants there. And they do find one out of Zelos. Terra going to find a pick two. Up to 2 numbers now. 100 Thieves trying to get this point early. You and I reiterate all the time how important it is to get point early in domination and just use those cooldowns to buy more time. As Millennia going to find a pick there. Goodbye to Vest. Spark Chief goes down and Cooper goes down to sweep the rest. And that should be the early point here for 100 Thieves.
Yeah, really good take by 100 Thieves. I mean, that was a long fight drawn out, but they have, a pretty good comp for dealing with that, right? This team, it's interesting. I think they have 2 sort of different play styles, right? 100 Thieves love to sort of peel. They like to play it slow. They like to make sure everybody's nice and healthy. The back line gets saved from any cap dives and stuff. On the opposite side, right, FlyQuest usually like to play a little bit aggressive, right, up the tempo with their Vanguard players. So 100 Thieves allowed to play their style, no pickoffs as well, as resulting in them getting some nice wins.
I suppose that helps.
Yeah, and we will see a start off here. Ult advantage going to be slightly in favor of Fly, but not for long, as Delena will be there for 100 Thieves to match the third ultimate available. And out goes Vision early on towards the backline. Vest going to find Harvey, and that's a good pick-off rip, giving them ult advantage in numbers. A lot being committed here is Vinny going to start up with the Freedom Charge. Terra goes up. TCK going to take out energy, though, and bring those numbers back to even for the moment, as everyone is heading back to point advantage. Still up here for 100 Thieves at 45 and counting. Terra on this off angle here. TTK going to find Spark Chief, and that's just what Emma does. Are really good into marking that cap and making things happen. That is a huge trance with 3, and they follow up with a quadra now, and they are still moving forward at this point. 100 Thieves looking dominant.
Yep, the tandem between Terra and TTK is still as good as ever, right? This is why these are 2 of the most sought-after players. Terra might be the star, but TTK is a player you can easily build around for 100 Thieves. He set that play up alongside the follow-through from Terra in the sky with the Ensong Inferno, in which, by the way, Shiv, he's built another one. FlyQuest now switching up to that Bucky instead of that Star-Lord, also opting for a bit of a slower play style, maybe understanding they can have a little bit more of an edge in these maybe mid-fights with their backline, but Terra has been a monster so far.
Yeah, Ensong Inferno available here for Terra. Millennia ready for the It's Jeff too, and we know how impactful that can be when there's not a lot of answers right now on their team besides energy on the Bucky. They do a good job of that. That's an early pick there by Terra. Great patience, leading with the stun there to find a combo. Remember, that animation cancel on the melee will be, removed here in the next patch. Coming in heavy with the Ensong. That does land, doesn't find too much value. Is going to break a little bit of equipment. Delena finds Vision though. Vinny on energy, and again, 100 Thieves are up in numbers. The portal might have to come through here in a big eat. But this time you might have to commit off map, as it is going to be difficult here with the Venom setting up to try to make it happen. And it doesn't matter, just waiting for the point. 100 Thieves really well played there and taking this early.
That was so clean. That was too clean, right? Like that was... That's a little uncharacteristic out of FlyQuest, and more importantly, 100 Thieves looked so good. I mean, we saw... Yeah, look at the stats. Like, just the stats speak for themselves. Terra literally had an Ensong back-to-back fight ship. Like, that is crazy how fast he's building these things at the current moment.
Yeah.
And I don't know, FlyQuest, they just got destroyed.
I'll tell you what, we have seen Fly over the last 2 times they started on domination. From my memory, they struggled with the initial first 2 fights, and it ended up a couple times getting to 99%, and then they kicked it on and took home the first map. But right there. I mean, not even able to grab point in that moment. Some really huge ults across the board, finding picks in the neutral right before every alt fight started. Yeah, I mean, 100 Thieves doing exactly what they need to do, and we're going to see how they open up here. Can FlyQuest bounce back? FlyQuest in a similar boat where when they get angry, you will see it. So let's see if they can make it happen. Cooper holding on to the dance floor here. Delena going to be ready with a Rage of Ultron. If you look over at 100 Thieves, TTK will be ready with ult in this fight. Vinny as well, whereas on the opposition is just going to be Cooper and Vest from FlyQuest, a team that is definitely stored and known as potentially the top seed right now.
Yeah, those dives between Vinny and the side of Terra have been massive. That's why FlyQuest switch up to the Namor composition, try to deal with a little bit more, make sure that cap is uncomfortable, but we start off already with that ult that you mentioned with TTK.
And Harvey holding on the backside. TTK going to find Vess early on, and that's going to put them up in numbers again early on. Out goes the whale. That one does not land from the side of Energy, and Sparchief now making a little bit of a switch here to go towards Gamma, which they can absolutely run very well. Ensong Inferno going to break some of those shields quickly, but not find too much value. Goodbye to the Squids, though. TTK onto Cooper now. And again, 100 Thieves are just finding these picks through even a slight disadvantage in ults right there. Delena onto Zelos now, walking them to the spawn door, ensuring that they could buy even more time. It's all about stalling now. You're going to see that tech a ton in Dom at this level of play. Essentially what you're trying to do now is own this point and commit ults, even if it buys you another 10%, as long as you get to that roughly 70-75% number, ensuring they need to portal back to make a play. It guarantees that you need one more big fight to win, and that is what the teams are going to be trying to do here. 100 Thieves going to be down in ults though in this next fight.
This has been the 100 Thieves playground. I mean, Terra setting up aggressive plays, constantly trying to pressure out cooldowns. There's that Stagger Storm immediately off the rip, incoming damage. They have to not lose anybody. FlyQuest, during these strategy ults, keep losing people. And at the moment, they're lucky to not lose anybody just yet. Finally, coming online, they're able to find Harvey before he's able to Invisible Boundary.
Yeah, Energy finding the pick there on TTK. Sparchief going to find a two-piece now. Goodbye to Millennia. Vess onto Vinny, and that is their first real sweep on the team so far in domination. Will that be enough to switch the momentum? Again, you and I always mention momentum, how important it is. In the genre of hero shooters as a whole, it is important, but Marvel Rivals especially is a very team-based game. Once you get the momentum moving forward, comms are feeling good, your team is feeling good, things just seem to work out for you, and that's why these teams need to keep in a positive headspace, in a good space here, making sure they can keep making big plays. Ults are going to be roughly even here in this next fight. Let's see who takes it out early on. TTK going to find Vision, and that is one walking them forward, putting them up in numbers. Vision did have ult too, which is a tough look. You can actually use that ult to counteract here this trance and just keep moving forward. Energy going to find Terra to even the numbers zone. That's a good pick here for FlyQuest, trying to maintain this point at roughly 40%. 54 for 100 Thieves as the fight continues.
That was a nice pick, nice shot from Energy. I mean, it's tough because Terra's just hitting shot after shot at the current moment. This guy's kind of just leveled up throughout this entire tournament, but in the backside, Millennia not want to go for that ult, right? He's been one of the main Jeff players that never wants to actually commit to it in case that whale comes through, which makes sense. Too many things on FlyQuest side could deal with that. Jeff has to go away, use that ultimate to stall it out, and 100 Thieves are trying to do so, dodging that whale too. So they're all still alive except TTK because of the damage that came through from that Namor whale, and the follow-up was there from Vess.
Yeah, TTK going down again. This is what you're looking for from FlyQuest. If you're looking for FlyQuest to take this home, to start getting the momentum back, that's a nice play here by Vision, who's going to find Harvey in the back line. Delena going to trade that right back at the same time into Cooper, and now the Ultrons battling in the sky. Delena takes that one onto Vision, and Energy going to trade again with Terra. Sparchief onto Delena. These trades are so consistently back and forth, but right now, FlyQuest at roughly 90% trying to take map 2. Will they be able to maintain this position? Still have ult advantage too, which is a huge win in terms of that last fight.
Still trying to hold on to it. Yeah, FlyQuest have been doing so. Despite the early pickoffs from 100 Thieves side, FlyQuest trades it back. And in this upcoming fight, they have that Eternal Bond ready to go aggressive. But 100 Thieves don't have anything, right? That's the scary part. They have to stall this out and also don't have point control ship. So that overtime's going to constantly tick down. Here comes that Sonic Seduction. Do they avoid it? Vinny eventually gets dragged in. Nobody's down just yet, but so many resources, and everybody's pushed off for this point for 100 Thieves, coming back now with their own Sonic Seduction.
Ults coming through, like you'd mentioned, Sonic Seductions both out, finding a little bit of value, but not enough, and that's a huge Jeff here by Millennia. Will that be able to work out? Heading towards the off angle, and instead going to just drag them as far away as possible to buy more time in this fight and try to get a pick there. That was huge by Millennia, trying to get a two-piece here out of Cooper now. Will that go through? Jeff trying to recharge here, get a couple shots available. Team goes back as TTK takes out Vess. That was a big ult there, and 100 Thieves retake point. 56% and counting. And you saw there, folks, for those who are confused, a really smart play there by 100 Thieves, letting those Vanguards go in first and allowing those strategists to just pump healing into them, get those ults quickly because they knew they were down at ult advantage. And that is the key. You almost don't want to deal damage to Vanguards without the full commit, especially when you know those strategists are close to ult. You really want to have targeted damage instead of just consistently plugging damage away. And that's why on the stat lines, as you're climbing the ladder, you know, damage doesn't always tell the story, because sometimes you could just be fueling the strategist line of the opposition as we start off with the next fight.
Some great healing, good call out. I mean, 100 Thieves, too, are one of the teams that are best at doing that. Also, Millennia has been so impressive so far to dodge that whale. Now into this upcoming fight, visioning this guy, trying to find that back line. Delena keeping also his alive. Kind of what happens with Ultron's raid sometimes. You know, both Ultrons end up, one does damage, one kind of heals his team from the damage of the other Ultron. Meanwhile, Hulk in the middle of the point is kind of creating a little bit of spacing coming from the rocket damage boost. Everybody's committing ultimates, but it's Terra, the one in the middle of the fight, from the help of his rocket raccoon with a see you later, takes down that Bruce Banner from Spark Chief. He has to go to Dr. Strange now. FlyQuest, they want to stall at this point now, Chip. Maybe build up Eternal Bond, maybe build a whale, but incoming Ensong Inferno.
And Song Inferno landing right on the back line, but still no major ult available yet for Fly. Not quite there. Vest going to be very close, but does go down there from TTK. Terra finding energy. Energy going to trade with Harvey. Delena on division. Wow, 100 Thieves are looking like they might get this done. Spark Chief going to teleport in here, and that could be enough to buy them another fight. And there is the teleport on point now. The whole team going to drop in. Will that be enough? As now FlyQuest are up in ults. Vest coming in here with the seduction, and it is going to be on the back line. Terra going to find Zelos, though, and there is no strategist at the moment here for Fly. Besides Vision on the high side, gonna use that rage, and Delena gonna find energy with another trade in favor of Fly. And oh my goodness, they are showing up here. Excuse me, 100 Thieves with a two-piece from Millennia. TTK on to Vest to win and take home game one.
Wow. I mean, you got to be happy if you're a 100 Thieves fan with how they've been playing recently. This team just throughout the tournament, leveling up every single match, man. This squad is looking as good as they ever have. Like, this might be the best form we've seen 100 Thieves in a long time, which is a scary thing to say, shit, because we've seen them win MRC. We've seen them win entire tournaments, right? This squad, if they're coming online, if they're hitting on all cylinders, if they're in a good meta, you're going to end up in a situation like this where Terra has nearly 30k damage. Not even one player in another team is 10,000 damage close.
Yeah, if you're going to come online at any point in a tournament, why not make it the very end here? And agreed, they have looked like a refreshed teams. We talk about a lot of teams, including teams like Sentinels that just kept getting better and better, even Dark Zero. But another team that's done it, but I would say to the best, is 100 Thieves, who have openly admitted to struggling with the meta, making huge changes, you know, struggling in those scrims like you had mentioned, and then just looking lights out when it comes to game time.
Yeah, I'll tell you, they ain't struggling no more. I mean, right now, this squad, they are phenomenal. And, you know, that's off of Millennia looking like he's taking a step up, right? We saw the dives from Vinny and Terra, that combination. Same thing with TDK. Like, everybody's making plays right now. Delena, same thing in the sky, consistent on Ultron so far. He's looking so good. And then Harvey on Invisible Woman, too. Like, seeing him playing that character to a high level is definitely nice. Never getting picked off. It's kind of on the opposite side where it's been hard for Cooper to stay alive. Not with Invisible Woman, which is interesting for FlyQuest that they're avoiding that hero at points where I guess it was banned, so that's tough to deal with. But regardless, 100 Thieves, like, Millennia leveling up is the big one, really. I mean, sure, Terra gonna be our MVP, of course, but for me, I kind of love how Millennia's been playing, and that's kind of the thing with a lot of these good strat playership. It's like, you know, some of the best strategist players were duelists, right? Because because the role is so saturated in the duelist department, because there's so many good ones, it kind of makes sense. If you think you can, you know, outperform a strategist player, if you just pick up the role eventually, you will get a job and you will get a spot. That's how I got my start in a different game entirely from Marvel Rivals. It's another hero shooter, but there was a lack of good strategist players, right? We're kind of in the same thing in Marvel Rivals. It's not necessarily disrespect to them. It's just how it works with the nature of oversaturated roles. There's so many good duelists. You might as well try to team with one of them and swap roles if you can put your ego aside.
Touche. And I mean, currently, even with things like Ultron and Jeff in the game, they can play, you know, an off strategist role, which is essentially like a duelist. And your whole job, and like I said, I think, or like you said, I think Millennia is a good call out, finding multiple It's Jeffs that are having value, even if it's just one strategist, as long as it's a major strategist, like we saw Luna twice in a row. That is a huge pull away. Your front line is far more in danger. So really well played there by 100 Thieves. We're heading to map 2, folks. This is now going to be a map selected by FlyQuest right after this break.
victory! Executioner!
Welcome back, and once again, 100 Thieves reversing the curse on losing that first domination map come through and look very good, taking their first win against FlyQuest. What'd you think?
I think 100 Thieves look really good, right? Many a times I maybe peruse around the Discord servers of all of our lovely teams, of all of the organizations. We'll join the 100 Thieves Discord, and they are usually not happy with at least my commentary, Shib. I'm sure they love you, but you know, we kind of have taken digs at them in the past, and they've just responded with nothing but kindness to players, and also, you know, just ruthless gameplay out of their partnership. Like, this team is looking like a well-oiled machine, which, like you mentioned before, we didn't expect out of them at the beginning of the tournament. And now this week, we literally expect 100 Thieves to be one of the favorites now at Atlanta based on what we've seen. FlyQuest have to find an answer. I thought during the break, you brought up a good point about the ban phase that we're going to see in a second here. But 100 Thieves, I mean, what is Shib? They played it so well on map 1, right?
Yeah, I mean, the whole thing looked beautiful. Talking about the ban phase, shout out there to Coach Remix, who clearly it's working for them. I think their bans are looking nice. They keep seemingly doing this strategy where they hard target out something like Strategist. We saw them ban Rocket, Invis, Mantis, and Jeff there, and then obviously leaving things like Ultron available. But even so, when they're doing this, I think it kind of throws off the backline a bit, especially when you have Ultron in the sky constantly applying pressure to that backline that you have forced into a specific pick. It is so tricky to handle, and they played it very well there. And I think they also played that that Adam Warlock composition very well. So either way, they have some solutions to pull out. So again, big shout out there to their banning strategy and Coach Remix as we head into round 2.
Yeah, Remix is a smart guy. I know he's a little goofy sometimes, you know, in the public, but you know, sometimes these guys that are, you know, consistently playing the game, you know, have as much experience as Remix does in this game. He is intelligent when it comes to Marvel Rivals gameplay, right? And he can, you know, do the draft phase very well, like you mentioned, but also on the opposite side, I mean, it's Terra doing those ban phases too alongside him, I bet. You know, there's, I imagine, a group discussion, and he's a part of it. So 100 Thieves, same thing you said, Shiv. They're getting rid of Invisible Woman, keeping Doctor Strange in the pool because we head to Midtown for that second map, and it is a first of 3 still, a best out of 5 series, and 100 Thieves currently up 1.
Yeah, as we're going to see the change up here. Midtown Convoy, again, a selection from FlyQuest. So I have no doubt we will see likely that triple composition, the triple, and locking in that Strange. I think is a strategy that they learned there from Envy when they went against Envy. Removing that Strange does make it very difficult to find success with those triple compositions. So likely the thought there. I'm just surprised it was not immediately banned out after to try to counter that. But again, FlyQuest is a team that can just consistently play on whatever they need to play on. They have so many different avenues to find success, but I do think one of those avenues that kind of messes with them is hard focusing one specific role here. And again, right back down to the strategist ban out.
Yeah, it might be. This is kind of what we were talking about for old 100 Thieves. Like, remember when we thought that you didn't have to ban Torch versus them? It was never because Terra was bad at Torch, just the team. Like we've seen, I mean, Terra is like one of the best human torches in North America. The 100 Thieves just couldn't play around it that well, right? You could see they play heavily around him now, right? They can play around that solo duelist, Torch, Bucky, Phoenix. He's got a wide hero pool at the moment, and it's not that FlyQuest don't. It's just they haven't been, you know, able to play those heroes just yet. With Invisible Woman banned, I mean, they did have last time Luna Snow open for that Snowflake and stuff, but you don't get the Human Torch team up and stuff. And that's kind of a big gap, right? If you can't play Human Torch and teams are giving you it, I think I'd be a little bit concerned about your hero pool moving forward, and that may be an instance you need to work on moving forward. But if they allow it this time again, I want to see FlyQuest play the Human Torch this time around, which, to be honest, it doesn't look like they do.
Yeah, I do agree. Again, as we head into our final ban here, this time for FlyQuest, as you will see those bans rotate over and showcase, you know, who they cannot play and who was locked in for those teams right here in front of your eyes. And now, to counteract what we saw last time, FlyQuest going to lock in Jeff and Mantis to make sure they have some options there in the back line. And we will see a little bit of a different Vanguard line. Goodbye to the Emma there for 100 Thieves, and that's going to pull out TTK Strange, which once again, and Vinny on the Groot. Very strong picks for them, and Spark Chief going to be matching that Groot right back, and we'll see that triple composition being run here for FlyQuest on the defense. Seeing how long they can do it. They are a team that finds a ton of success holding very early on this map. The question is, can they do it again into a team that has already found momentum off map 1?
Yeah, this is it's gonna be interesting because I mean sometimes for Envy, I believe they found success on 100 Thieves yesterday whenever they did, I believe, ban out some of the Vanguards and stuff. So, you know, we'll see how the series progresses. At the current moment, though, 100 Thieves look to be pretty, like, flexible, right? And you mentioned yesterday as well, whenever we see TTK on Doctor Strange and stuff, he plays quite well. So, to be honest, it's not necessarily like a full counter what you could do versus 100 Thieves at the moment. And that's the tough part about banning versus this type of team. You gotta kind of, you know, pick your poison, and the poison is just stick with the Jeff on the opposite side. You at least get a Jeff this time around. You're going also back over to the Loki, but you get that Mantis matchup too if you possibly want it.
And we will start off now. Once again, going to have one Vanguard on the low side, just playing around that point, while a lot of the team is going to be playing on that height, trying to own that position, which gives you a lot of free space. Again, Vest going to have to drop back here. Spark Chief keeping the damage out as 100 Thieves now going to be circling around that cart, using that as natural cover, which you'll see a lot of these pros, if not all of these pros, consistently playing around that cover, especially with something like Bucky on the opposition in the hands of Terra. You are going to be getting yoinked all the time. Vinny going to find Spark Chief and say, I am actually Groot, as Vision gonna res back Spark Chief immediately and keep those numbers even, but Terra gonna find energy, and that will not be res back early on here for the side of 100 Thieves, who are still looking very strong. What a fast, oh my goodness, the Kraken impact, just seconds in, 45 seconds into the game here, gonna find a second. Spark Chief goes down, does get stuffed there by the ceiling, unable to find the third, but still, that is a nice sweep there for 100 Thieves, and FlyQuest are in a tough spot.
And they're just going to stall on now. Portal comes back. They also have the dance floor around. And, yeah, getting that elimination through the Fate of the Worlds is impressive. Wow. Also on top of that, too, from Terra. Definitely some headshots there from him. And it's like you mentioned, Terra looks like he hasn't lost a step from the last round, Chip, because guess what? You just mentioned how fast he built that first ult. He's up close to another one, but they lose TTK. FlyQuest haven't given up in this fight yet.
Yeah, way to come back here and aggro through it. Still finding a way to make that happen. But, ooh, the Jeff NATO gonna find Zello, Spark Chief, Cooper, and Vest. Are you kidding me? What a sweep there again by 100 Thieves, who are just keeping this thing moving even through that portal hold. And yes, portal guarantees 3 fights, but when the first 2 fights are that quick, things are getting dicey. But we know how FlyQuest is. This team is disgusting. They are up in alts now. Can they bounce back? We will see shortly.
I think Terra actually, more than a lot of duelists in the game, are really good at dodging these Vanguard ults, right? We'll have to see how he does in this upcoming fight, because if they catch him, that'd be big. Vinny starts off with his own Strangling Prison. They go for a proactive play. It's countered, though, by a nice wall.
Yeah, Vision going to be out there with the Sia. Spark Chief going to match that right back. Vess and Cooper going to get a two-piece. The team is going to have to drop back together and retake, and that is what you need to do in ladder. Just reduce the amount of time your team has to wait before you can fight again. Don't try to 1v6 and do not press that Q button. Trust me, fight is 6 and start all over once again. But looking at alts here, Vess and Energy going to be available in this next fight. TTK is close, but still will take some time for that. So this could be another win here for FlyQuest if used efficiently.
Yeah, notice how this time around, too, they didn't even protect the Star-Lord and it still made it through. So we already are kind of learning about 100 Thieves, at least from this map. They don't even really care about the Star-Lord, and you can see why in that previous one. But now they're able to get it, and with that backside angle, Energy takes it and makes Millennia pay.
And Energy still holding on there to that Galactic Legend. Is just some real patience, noting that it wasn't needed as Millennia falls early in that fight as Energy spins to win on top of the Shark's head. Vinny, though, going to find Spark Chief again. That res could come through. Yes, it does. So the numbers are again even. Energy likely going to be using that Q button soon here just to try to find some pressure, but Harvey now has that boundary to match. TTK with the eye goes out. Does that find value? It does, as 2 go down. TTK with these eyes are so consistent, walking forward once more, moving that point, and that could be a potential first take here, but no, going to be matched right back as Cooper going to copy up and start that dance floor. Good work there to make sure that that was available, as Zelos going to stay up and healthy. Energy going to force out the boundary, drop back and wait it out, and that's, you know, value in and of itself. Sometimes it's worth using that ult if you can get it quicker than the strategist. Terra goes up, letting it directly on a clone, as you should. Oh, it does get, oh, what a play there. Huge shout out to Cooper with an insane switch and turning it right around on Terra. That was clean.
Yeah, that's why people talk about Cooper as one of the best Lokis in the game, Shib. I mean, really patient with that green usage, like you mentioned with Regenerative Domain, and staying alive. Now on the opposite side, Delena forced to use that Soul Bond earlier on, and 100 Thieves, even though the push has been looking good damage-wise, at the moment, FlyQuest still hold on. They're delaying this objective so well, Shib. It's 0.05 meters to the end.
Ooh, and that is another huge eye ear for TTK as Spark Chief goes down, as well as Energy, and that is going to be enough there for point 1. Wow, again, big shout outs to Fly, who I thought were actually looking like they might be able to take that in the moment on that retake. Just doing a really good job of maintaining point pressure, but no. Again, 100 Thieves clutching up in that moment and making a big play off that Eye of Agamotto.
And a big thing that's happening is that, you know, on 100 Thieves side, they get to really pick whatever they want strategist-wise, right? We already know Invis is banned for FlyQuest, so on FlyQuest's angle, they're relying on these hyper-aggro plays, right? They're relying on setting up, you know, hard-to-hook angles for Terra, but there's so much pressure from Harvey right now on Invisible Woman just with these force physics.
And here we go again, and that is going to be the dance floor out there for Cooper, switching to damage for a moment as Energy gets that pick there onto Delena in the back line. Delena now going to be on that Warlock, does not have ult, but does have self-res, as the numbers are again evened out. Energy holding on to that Q already with that again, as we just witnessed that in that last fight, and comes back incredibly quickly in the right hands. Is Energy going to try to make a play here shortly, but again, can be matched by Harvey in a moment's notice, as it likely will, and there it is right there. Again, everybody holding on now. That could have been enough value. Zelos going to be walking in there with the dance floor. Vest going to commit as well with the Psionic Seduction. Does that get value? It seems like everyone is playing around that natural cover very, very well, but Energy going to get that first pick onto Delena, who will not have that self-res now.
Yeah, that's a huge pick in the middle of this fight. I mean, he doesn't have that self-res like you said. He has to come back. Doesn't have it for when TDK wants to go aggressive. So they're just going to get slowly walked on, right? Right now in this fight, huge pick off by Energy. Nice job on the win conditions, too. I mean, over the high ground, Energy waiting for Terra to commit his Bucky ultimate in that Strangling Prison. And then with that as well, Harvey needed to commit an ultimate on the backside. So, you know, great work from FlyQuest, forcing 3 ults basically at the same time out of 100 Thieves. And that really forced their momentum to go down the drain. FlyQuest now sitting on top against the 100 Thieves, who have to walk in and maybe set up Delena again, who will have his Cocoon passive up again in a moment.
Yeah, again, that was a huge pick there in that moment to focus Delena before that res comes through. That was something we've seen a ton of value with against something like Envy yesterday. Again, an early pick there from Energy onto Harvey with another good bit of focus, as both of which strategists fall with ults available. Spark Chief doing a great job. Energy again onto Terra now. FlyQuest are woken up. They are ready to play here as they are sweeping now. 3 seconds on as the touch does come through. It's just a matter of can they maintain this position. Out goes There's a strangling prison from Vinny. Cooper is going to fall there as one goes down, and everybody pressing the Q button. Energy now with the Galactic Legend off the map, but no cooldowns available. That is a huge throw there. Energy going to find Terra and FlyQuest. Hold on before point two, very early on in that set of point two.
Yeah, second phase, two players really stood out. I mean, well, actually three if you count, the venom of FlyQuest, just absolutely going insane in that Spark Chief angle. And at the moment, we saw a lot of energy, right? Energy was doing so much consistently on that Star-Lord, but also on the opposite side, no Invisible Woman. Cooper switching over to that Loki, right? He really just did so much. We saw first point, same thing. Second phase really was never hard pressured. The healing output so much from FlyQuest. The main win condition for 100 Thieves is to set up Harvey with these pools, maybe find Terra too. But every time that we saw these combos with the Strangling Prison and with the Bucky Ultimate, it seemed like there was so much commitment to a single fight. And FlyQuest well understood that, only needing to throw in, one or two to counter it. And then just in terms of numbers, they sat up in a massive fight. Taking a look at those stats, Shib, is there anything off the rip that you're kind of noticing from what we saw there that we, maybe aren't going to get as visual for us viewers?
Yeah, I mean, I guess the first thing I want to call out is right now, I'm curious about this comp. Obviously, I think they're just kind of messing around in the spawn when you're looking at FlyQuest, as you see here, the Iron Man, which, has seen a little bit of play here. I believe we did see it once so far in the tournament, but outside of that, I mean, yeah, the stat lines look still strong there for Energy, but that is kind of the goal there with that play. When you have a solo duelist that's making some big plays, there's a lot of pocket and focus on you, so stat lines there are no surprise to me. But yeah, I mean, I would say maybe Spark Chief for the getting KO'd 7 times is a little tricky, making it difficult maybe to stay in the fights if your front line is being that focused. But if you go into a Bucky with something like Venom, it is difficult to hold on. Energy, though, going to be on the Magic, finds Delena with that res coming right back. And Vest now going to be holding the front line with Strange, getting ready to make those eye plays. Again, going to maintain presence here on point and just kind of play around the natural cover of the point while scooching it forward. Energy again onto Harvey. Cooper now onto Terra. Res comes through for Harvey, though, as that strategist will maintain presence on point. Energy with 3. Why don't you hear? Showcasing why Magic is so strong right now into these triple comps. Why don't you make it 4? Do I see 5? Yes, we potentially do, with a follow-up there from Spark Chief. Really well played.
Yeah, definitely a better take there from the side of FlyQuest. I'm surprised the 100 Thieves didn't even want to play the the thing. Usually we see Terra play on the thing instead of Doctor Strange off. Originally, they didn't even go for a portal there in that fight, or at least maybe he canceled it. So they switched to a more normal composition. Usually that could kind of peel off this Magic a bit better, but it's like you said, people getting the hang of these really all-in dives. At the moment, FlyQuest took advantage of 100 Thieves positioning and have some ults to work with now.
Yeah, it looks like they want to try to take this fight here by ambulance, and maybe, if they have the opportunity, portal back, as I do believe they did lock in that Strange. Energy now going to keep the presence forward, does have that Dark Child, and that will be a problem to handle. Can find a ton of value through Strategy Assault with the right patience on right click, followed up by E, and that is looking to happen here as Millennia goes down. What a play there by Energy. Why don't you make it 2 as Vest takes out Terra and Harvey. Delena with a huge res once more. They just have to get back to point, but again, Vision going to come in here and at least eat 1, looking to try to displace enough to win this next fight. Terra onto Energy, Vision onto Harvey, and it's getting close to point 1 now. They got to make this touch happen. Not sure they can, and it looks like 2 meters on. They cannot. What an attack here.
Yeah, Terra has just been so distracted, and it makes sense because of FlyQuest comp. I mean, they can't even find an elimination. This is what we talk about when we talk about best strategist players in the game. Nobody really goes down, right? That's why it's such a valuable asset to have, that Vision play on to the Jeff, right? Constantly, like you mentioned, getting rid of Delena. And at the moment, they are just getting shoved away, having to force an early freedom charge here. If they could find a pick, that'd be huge, but it's going to be really hard with all the pocket coming on Energy.
I mean, just adding more and more heroes here. We have seen Energy on the Magic in the past, but just to this hero pool, it's so large. The hero ocean. Energy again with a pick there on a Terra with the Magic, who just keeps getting picks here early on. Vest onto Vinny, numbers in their favor by 2. TTK going to trade 1 back onto Vision, though. Good play there by TTK, who just does not miss these ults. Terra thinking about switching, is going to make that switch to the storied Wolverine, but at this point, the point is very close. 2 meters on. Can they get there? They cannot. FlyQuest are going to take this map and make it a 1-1 series.
Oh my God. Are we just going to see like back-to-back-to-back stomps? Like, that's insane. 100 Thieves map 1 destroyed FlyQuest. Like, that wasn't close. And then now on map 2, FlyQuest destroy 100 Thieves. This is sort of what happened, I think, in the first time we saw 100 Thieves in this grand final situation against Sentinels in stage 1. They kind of was like up to the ban phase a little bit as the teams felt each other out and kind of understood what each other was going to do. Right, like right now, you kind of got to take it where, okay, we learned a little about the draft, right? We understand, okay, maybe now we can't ban only strategists every single map for 100 Thieves side. Maybe that'll change, right? Now that we have another chance to go to domination, or now that we go to convergence, like maybe we could deviate from that. Maybe we could stick to it. At the current moment, though, we're at least learning FlyQuest don't really need to protect Star-Lord anymore. They're focusing on that Manta stuff in the Jeff, and if they get the strategists that kind of help and support the Star-Lord, or really any hero, that's a bit terrifying. That might force 100 Thieves to deviate in terms of their ban phase later on.
Yeah, I mean, again, just some really smart and strong play by Fly, who, you know, we talk about these teams bouncing back after a loss and looking clean, especially teams like 100 Thieves who have done that a lot throughout this tournament. But FlyQuest, we haven't seen a lot of that simply because they just haven't been losing a whole lot. They've only lost a few maps there the side of Envy and losing to, you know, 100 Thieves here now, but you can clearly see they took that personally and came back and walked right through. Plenty of time on the clock still on that point too. And, you know, I do got to give credit to the defense there, because holding that point prior to ramp, I feel like ramp is a pretty defensible position, but holding it on that street on the left side, that street position is pretty tricky. It's pretty difficult to do as both spawns are relatively far away. But again, they were able to do that. And at that point, once they won one fight early on, almost walked that thing right through without any concern.
100%. Yeah, I mean, FlyQuest, this team's looking good, and I think at the moment, you know, it's 100% easy to just call out, you know, an incredible duelist play because it's just the most obvious thing in the world. But Energy, MVP, well deserved that one. It's just, he's looking really good, man. Like, he's looking like an insane duelist currently. You know, up there with Sparker, up there with, on the other side, Terra. I mean, Vision, we talked about him a lot as that newcomer, but, you know, Energy really is, you know, leveling up throughout this whole tournament. I mean, he's having himself a series at the current moment, and throughout this entire stage 2, this man is becoming a household name in Marvel Rivals esports.
Yeah, I mean, tacking on MVPs with different heroes we got to add as well. Here with the Magic, I mean, and that Magic play was obscene, very clean the whole time. 16 finals there, and a lot of those driven on the attack, finding a 4-piece off-rip, multiple takedowns throughout any neutral, and then at the end there, just looking down, finding Terra in the final fight. Just a huge set of plays there by the Magic. And I'm sure Magic mains are rejoicing at that kind of play, at this level of play, this deep into the tournament.
Yeah, this is going to be a fun one, man. I mean, we saw map 1. I was like, the fact that we even saw FlyQuest get 2-0'd is just like crazy. That already bodes, I think, well for the series, just because, I mean, yeah, not for FlyQuest fans, obviously, but it shows 100 Thieves, you know, is a top dog too. And on the opposite side, you just learned exactly why FlyQuest are still that best team too at the top with 100 Thieves. Tied up 1-1 now, Shiv. We head to a map number 3 in this best out of 5 after this break.
Welcome back, everyone, and once again we have a series on our hands as we're now heading over to Symbiotic Surface. Both teams 1-0 on that map. We're going to see who takes the first loss, or who takes the first win rather, coming up here shortly. Again, we saw some big plays with things like Warlock on this map last time for 100 Thieves. Curious to see what we'll see from Fly in their strategy going against each other, or if they've done their homework from the last matchup.
Yeah, it wouldn't be a bad call to keep doing what FlyQuest is doing at the current moment from the previous one. And if they can adapt to that Stratus ban line, I mean, that bodes well, right? Because I think 100 Thieves are probably going to stick to it, Shib. Like, maybe they'll change up one of the Stratus bans over to, like, the Mantis, maybe, or something like that. That could be the change up that they would want. But also, we didn't even see the Mantis until offense, right? That's the tough part of FlyQuest, is that they played on defense with the traditional Luna Snow alongside the Loki. So maybe we see some prioritization towards Luna Snow. I think that happened last time for 100 Thieves. That they have a few options to go in terms of Stratus bans, but the problem is you only have so many maps to work with, and if we're not going to try any other strategies, then it's kind of a slow burn to kind of figure out, okay, was this the right one?
Yeah, agreed. I mean, I think Luna, very similar to Jeff, this is a very lane-focused map with very tight lanes, so that clap cooldown gets even more value, even though it is already an insanely strong cooldown. So yeah, so a little more presence there on this map in particular, similar to Jeff. But yeah, we're going to see that Jeff ban out instantaneously here by 100 Thieves. And yeah, goodbye to Emma there, for FlyQuest does not want TTK on that Emma. Yeah,
last time they first banned Invis, I believe, so let's kind of see where it goes from there, right? Because yeah, Emma ban worked for FlyQuest on the past map. Sometimes it doesn't work, right? Like we saw 100 Thieves still win without the Emma when it was banned before. But that last map, I mean, it proved to be eventually costly for 100 Thieves to not be able to play that Emma Frost because of what we've seen damage-wise out of TTK. This time they protected Doctor Strange to make sure they get that portal back, but also because they don't have the Emma, they need TTK on one of the heroes that I'm sure he feels comfortable on. And, you know, maybe FlyQuest slowly starting to pick at 100 Thieves hero pool with the Human Torch ban as well, going for very specific bans for very specific reasons rather than a general strategy like 100 Thieves is going for.
Yeah, and we did see last time the portal strategy come in here and find success there for 100 Thieves, using that portal to take the backside. A very traditional strategy we've seen in earlier stages, like stage 1 of Ignite and in other tournaments like MRC, coming back into fruition here, and it did work out. So again, takes teams by a little bit of a surprise, and then right back to that strategist ban out strategy here for 100 Thieves. And yeah, I mean, the thing about Fly is they're kind of just shutting down very high priority damage dealing either strategists or duelists. Goodbye to that, you know, Emma, even Vanguards, excuse me, with Emma and Torch and Ultron. It's like you're hitting the, you know, the trifecta of the most damage in this current patch that they're playing on.
Yep, 100% you're right. And this is kind of, I mean, I want to see how 100 Thieves play on this map, right? Like we've seen them do well here, but this is already looking a little bit scary because they already, you know, get rid of your Emma Frost. Like you mentioned, they get rid of the Torch, they get rid of those characters that you're very good on. You go for the Emma ban this time in the last one. Honestly, that's a fine change up. I thought that was kind of the play. They're kind of losing so far in that like healing department. They get the ban on Mantis and the Protect coming through at the very least, but you're still going to have Luna Snow to pair alongside the Ultron. Yeah, keep him alive in the sky. You're going to have an incredible amount of healing alongside him, and you're also going to put Visions back onto a hero he's comfortable on, right? So this backline's still pretty strong. They get Cloak and Dagger. They didn't have that last time. They'll also still have the flex over to Adam Warlock if they possibly want it. Both teams don't want to play against Jeff currently, as that character is banned out from both teams. And this time we get to see, you know, what are both squads going to run? 100 Thieves still going to play their Adam Warlock stuff, but FlyQuest seem like they don't really mind it, especially as we head into Symbiotic Surface, where honestly, I don't know if we've seen too many Adam comps succeed here, Shib. It's kind of a character that doesn't really do that well on this map, oddly enough.
Yeah, on defense, it's not bad, especially on Streets phase like point 2 there, because we saw that have success when it comes to 100 Thieves against Envy yesterday, right? Where those reses, they were, you know, after 3 ults were sweeping the team, you'd use 1 res, and that ult trade is so huge for you. It changes the whole mentality of what you want to commit in these fights and try not to overcommit because you know that the team's coming right back. But agreed, outside of like that specific point, I don't think it finds too much success, but we will see again some of these players that, you know, are starting on duelists like Delena that are coming in here onto the strategist role and are playing these very heavy, hard-hitting strategists like Warlock. You can really do some serious damage down these main lanes, so it could find some success here, but we will see shortly as we start up now. And again, we are not at the moment seeing that Strange.
Yeah, not for now. Get to see TTK playing that Magneto. No portal play like you mentioned coming through. They start on this top side, break the wall. This is a part of Marvel Rivals, right? The destructible terrain. And, you know, pros, I think more than anybody know that, right? They just delete everything in every cost to make sure the rotations of 100 Thieves aren't as clean, to make sure they have the sight line here, because that part, it's high ground. It sees both flanks. It's a good centralized location to play around, especially with the Phoenix comp they're on.
Yeah, so very defensible position, owning this height here and making sure the team cannot come up here, forcing them into that room, so you have a much more targeted location to put some serious damage out, and you're gonna have Spark Chief down there just juking around, trying to bide time while your whole team is dealing damage on the high side. Vest gonna be doing the same. Cooper gonna find Terra in that building though, and again, Luna Snow deals so much damage there with a hit scan in of herself, and then walking in again, Vest gonna put that damage, always looking towards the back line, not trying to put that damage on the Vanguards, instead trying to weave it through the Vanguards towards the back line is exactly what you're looking to do there with Magneto. Spark Chief going to juke back towards the team, and everybody going to have to reset here for 100 Thieves.
Yeah, this is already a little bit scary now for 100 Thieves, and that's because, you know, we're seeing the combination of Spark Chief and Cooper, that back line. You mentioned the clap earlier. There it is, you know, Luna Snow lethality shown with that, with the help from the Captain America. Terra also finds Visions, though, so good opening pick, and the Meteor misses this time from TTK, though.
Vision comes right back through with the self-res. TTK gonna find Zelos. Delena onto Vision once more. That will not have the res now. Up goes, and this could be a big slam here from Vest. Tries to throw it at Terra on the back line. Not enough of an angle there to make that work. The whole team gonna fall here. Oh, that's a huge freedom charge, but even through it, TTK gonna find Spark Chief. Great focus there as Vinny takes out Vest. Millennia with a two-piece on a Cooper and Energy, and that is an early take there on point one.
Yeah, very, very quick take. And that's interesting that FlyQuest as well is running this sort of Adam Warlock alongside it. And, you know, you would think that with the team like FlyQuest, but because of everything that happened and the fact they get the Ultron, that they would play around it. But at the moment, valuing that Adam Warlock into this triple comp. And honestly, I'd prefer seeing FlyQuest on this than the Ultron stuff that we've seen earlier. But right now, the pace of 100 Thieves has been nice. They keep damage boosting the right target. Terra finds those opening picks, or Delena, and they're able to capitalize. They also have ultimates to go with too here, Shiv. Maybe they could try to find somebody right through Zelos and that Eternal Bond. Gonna have to have a massive advantage in terms of strategist ults for FlyQuest, and you gotta take advantage of it right now.
Yeah, Eternal Bond out. Vision ready with ult. Terra and Delena ready. TTK going to be there with the Meteor M very soon as well. Spark Chief at about 70, and Cooper going to bring out that dance floor after that pick early on a Millennia. Spark Chief going to find Terra. Delena bringing both right back, and that is what Delena has been doing. A ton of value there. Not having to commit too much in terms of the side of Fly just yet, as Cooper and Vision are still holding on. Again, Spark Chief close and Energy close, where 100 Thieves now will have a few in the Vanguard line. This could be a big group hug here from Group with the Strangling Prison, drawing some attention away. The Strangling Prison is huge. Can they combine and make something happen? They cannot. Great utilization there of some cooldowns to keep the team healthy, as everybody is still holding on full HP at the moment.
Yeah, good deletion of both of the Endsong Inferno. Trades coming through. Energy wins the duel in the sky, but they also lose Spark Chief, who is now resurrected. Harvey in the dance floor, you know, not going to bring anybody back necessarily, but Vision's going to bring back his own team, and Energy in the squad able to eventually push forward off of that, you know, copy into that Luna Snow from Harvey. Or sorry, rather, yeah, no, that was Luna Snow. And, you know, with that, they just win the fight right out, right? Because of the res coming through from FlyQuest and then going up in terms of pick advantage. 100 Thieves now, you know, have some choices to go through. That's another lost fight, but we have 3 minutes on the clock they have to work with here. They can commit that Soul Resurgence to go aggressive, more than likely build up another ultimate from Vinny. The last time FlyQuest countered this, and Zelos is coming up with another Eternal Bond.
Yeah, what a shot there from Terra to find Vision in the back line, and immediately going to end Song Inferno. Combination there with Vest, going to take out Harvey. Vision reses right back, though, but again, down one number here. FlyQuest still maintaining position here as 100 Thieves are down one number. Energy going to be taking out Terra again with another pick here. Vest onto TTK, Energy onto Vinny, and everybody's going down here. Going to have to force that reset with 2 minutes on. FlyQuest with not a lot of option here besides the dance floor in the next fight, and there will be a few answers if you can press through with that Strangling Prison from Vinny. There is an opportunity to get that pick, and you will see Delena available with that res too. TTK going to be close with the Meteor M as we start up our next fight. Again, not a lot of ult advantage coming from 100 Thieves, but there could be enough here for them to press through some of these strat line ults. We'll find out shortly how that looks as we start up with our next fight.
Yeah, it's going to be so slow, right? And last time we saw FlyQuest peel it off, but now cooldowns are used. A lot of cooldowns used. Maybe trying to force Vinny to use it here. but he's not getting baited at the current moment. Just taking it slow, letting Terra maybe find a pick, but you have energy on the back line. Oh my god!
Wow, that was obscene as both go up with the Ensong Inferno, but where does it land? Meteor M combination is always very valuable. Doesn't seem like that one worked too well, though. Delena going to be bringing back anyone that goes down in that moment. The whole team going to be holding on as Vinny takes out energy right now. Again, Delena going to bring these picks back, and it is huge, but Vision going to do the same. Energy back in the fight, immediately finds Terra with that pick. Again, just a note, when you get those reses out with Warlocks, don't be afraid to walk forward because the res location is around your person and not the location of the res that you dropped. So moving forward, we'll get you more reses. Again, whole team going to collapse once more, and FlyQuest are looking lights out here on this second phase of this map. Vest with a two-piece on the Delena and Harvey, and why not shove the rest in if you can?
And these are brutal staggers, and that's off of a really deep res from Vision, you know, coming back towards his side. Terra overcommits to it, and Energy, you know, after being res, just comes back and takes him out too far to run away for him on that Phoenix. Right now, Energy is winning in that duel on Phoenix due to his positioning and also due to a nice res spot, but Terra equalizes it. Nice pick off from him.
And walking in, Zello's going to get caught up there during one of those dashes, still able to press forward and put some pressure onto the back line, and that is going to find Harvey with Spark Chief in tow. Vision on the Millennia, and again, FlyQuest are holding on like champions onto this point early on, as if it's an OT situation with no time on the clock. 10 seconds are on the clock, though, now, and again, in a tight situation, 100 Thieves are going to have to force this touch. Can they get there? They can. Vinny commits, will have Feast of the Abyss, and is going to try to make that happen. Still holding on, using that cooldown, still biding time on point. Really well played there by Vinny and the backline of 100 Thieves to keep them moving. Energy now going to dunk, try to get a combination once more with Vest. Does that work out? It does! Onto Vinny, getting rid of that overhealth instantaneously. Delena going to bring Vinny right back once again as the numbers are evened out, and that's a 2-for-1 trade on alt. But will it happen once more as the opposition doing the same thing? And there is a combo, but that's two, and that's going to find a huge pick onto Vision. Does Vision have self-res? That could be what really matters. It looks like no, he does not. So going to be at 97% to alt 2, and that would have been massive if he was able to hold on there, but not able to.
Yeah, but unfortunately, yeah, exactly. For 100 Thieves, they've used every ult, basically. And, you know, you're wondering, okay, why is Harvey using that ult? But it's because he got the copy off earlier. Now, FlyQuest have a huge ult advantage. Vinny's going to have to find a neutral fight pick with damage boost, and that's really the only win condition outside of Terra.
If you're going to be held on point 2, you better make it so you're held over in this location, giving you at least a few fights instead of that first location, which is one fight territory. So at least that was happening. But FlyQuest really showing some strong experience after losing that first point incredibly quickly. They are lights out right now and keeping it calm, cool, and collected. But at this point, if they keep playing slow enough, the team will come back beside of 100 Thieves with ult advantage. Spark Chief going to keep that pressure on, is still holding on to that Feast of the Abyss. Very low in HP. Out goes the Eternal Bond as the whole team is now walking forward once more. And we are going to see them turning that right back as Mantis going to pop the Q from the side of Millennia, and still holding on to ults here, but about to be 5 ults for 100 Thieves if they can maintain this fight. Terra onto Energy is a huge pick, but that res will be available as Vision brings Energy right back. As discussed, Millennia onto Vest, but once more, all of those will come back. Can they collapse here with the help of Phoenix? CTK going to make that pick happen, but again, FlyQuest has everyone available right now. Nobody out of this fight, and 100 Thieves are now up in alt until Cooper gets there, and no, Cooper falls from Delena, and that's so tough at 98% for the dance floor, and that is going to be a Kraken shield, and they will likely get this point. Are you kidding me? 100 Thieves are clutching up.
Oh my goodness, what a choke job there by FlyQuest. Honestly, they had every ult in the bank, and they just let 100 Thieves build up ults. Like, I didn't even think that was going to be a win condition at all because of the fact that, well, it's like you said earlier, the supports, the strategist keeping Vinny alive. Maybe they're trying to, they think other Venoms would have to use a Feast of Abyss there, but not Vinny. Like, he just stays alive through some great healing out of his backline. So at the moment, 100 Thieves, great job building up those ults. Terra eventually finds that pick. The res was used, yes, but then that sets up Cooper to get taken down by a dunk from TTK.
Yeah, that is absolutely insane and very well played again by 100 Thieves, just maintaining and biding time until they got those ults. And I cannot believe how strong of just a series of events that was. Up goes Energy now. Gonna wait here and hold on until the movement forward is potentially switched to damage here by Cooper right about now. Bang, coming in heavy, does not find a pick, but does break some of those clones. Eternal Bond going to be launched now. Terra coming in with the end song as well on the side of 100 Thieves, and that's the only ult available at the moment. Now Delena and Harvey are going to have ults. Vest holding on to that Meteor M. Vision will be there shortly, and Spark Chief at 84%. Zello's gonna find a two-piece, but both of which come right back from a big ult from Delena, who is holding on to that point and still maintaining this presence with a full team on point here. 11 seconds on. Terra onto Vision. Delena gonna bring back Vinny again, who falls, and now they are up in numbers. Will that res find value from the side of FlyQuest? No, but Vision is down without self-res in that moment, so not able to bring that back quick enough. Up goes the Meteor M from Vest now. Will that land? It's on the back line, but no. Great crystals there from Harvey, and what a back and forth.
Yeah, I mean, Terra's been showing up when it matters most. And same thing with Delena. Energy falls, and the experience, maybe it could be overwhelming right now because they're finding picks after picks after picks. And FlyQuest back to the spawn. Overtime ticks down, but it's a healthy overtime at the current moment. She had the lifeline. That yellow bar at the top is still filled up, but it slowly ticks down, even with the 100 Thieves on that cart for FlyQuest side. They have ults to come back. They've done it before, but at the moment, 100 Thieves, their momentum can maybe not be matched.
And remember, folks, OT does add a few seconds onto your respawn timer, and that is something that is very important right now. The spawn is heavily in favor of Fly, and this would be a massive push through if 100 Thieves could go through, find three. Up they go as TTK dunks onto the back line, but no, not able to make that work as Cooper still had a ton of that over health. Everybody now going to match ults as Cooper still holding onto that dance floor. Zelos does have Eternal Bond, and that will be matched right into Millennia, who is still keeping that presence forward. Vinny holding onto the Feast of the Abyss. Delena almost has res again, and Vision does, so this will be an insanely sustained fight unless you can get that pick on Warlock. As Vest finds Terra immediately, that's going to be matched as Delena is bringing the team back. Can they keep that presence on point, though, as the res is in that backside angle? That's a dangerous spot as Terra falls once again, and that res will not come through. Vest, Delena going to take out Spark Chief, though, and we may see a res now from the other side in terms of FlyQuest with Vision. But again, Energy holds the high side. These trades are so back and forth. Millennia, Delena falls. FlyQuest stepping up right now with ult advantage. This is looking like it's going to go in their favor. Delena res is back up, but will not have that res for the team. But the bond is out, making it very difficult to land that meteor and find success. The portal almost kidnaps by accident, and then Song Inferno lands now, and goodbye to all of those equipment from the side of Loki. What a back and forth again.
Yeah, how are they still alive here? I mean, 100 Thieves not even losing Vinny yet is crazy. Vinny falls so low, close to that Feast of Abyss, like you mentioned. Everybody's also hit by the Terra Cape, but nobody's falling. The healing output's insane. Millennia gets ult, so does Terra.
That was a disgusting iframe there by Energy, but even so, Millennia going to find that pick on a Vision after the eye, and everybody now is collapsing. Sparky trying to take that space right back and look towards the back line to distract. TTK, though, going to find Zelos, and how is this happening? They're still maintaining presence on point, but now Vision going to res back. Everyone that falls, Energy, Zelos, Vinny going to find Energy prior to that res, but it doesn't matter as they're still holding on this point in the fight. 100 Thieves now down to Lena, who doesn't look like that res is available right now, and they do not touch the point. Oh, they do.
Oh, yeah, 100 Thieves is still on it. FlyQuest got pushed off by Magneto. Spark Chief wasn't touching. Oh my God. 100 Thieves capped out the map ship.
That was insane. The OT was so low, it was a matter of who got off point first and if that recap could come back from the side of Fly on defense. But 100 Thieves, they are just so clutch in this map right now. Every single time they are down and quote unquote out, they are not out, and they bounce right back and make something huge happen. What a portal, and wow, they got ult so quickly.
Yeah. And as much as I want to be positive about it, I mean, dude, FlyQuest couldn't buy a kill. Like, they literally couldn't. They just, like, tried their hardest, but in the middle of these, like, intense fights, their strategist kept everybody alive, and then it was always Terra showing up at the very end, and Energy was trying, man. Like, look at that, 41k dam. Wow. You know, nearly 10 final hits for Vest, or for Energy, but that's kind of the big thing, is they relied heavily on picks from Magneto, and then outside of that, it was kind of, I don't know, silent across the board. And I think it goes to show, like you mentioned, the back line of 100 Thieves playing so well across the board, everybody stepping up. But damn, I mean, literally in the middle of these fights, we just needed something to come through for FlyQuest. It seems like they're just getting a little bit nervous maybe in this intense match for 35K minimum, Shib. If they make this match to the grand finals, if they win this match to the grand finals, that's 35K in the bank minimum for second place.
Yeah, that's insane. And that is definitely in the back of their minds, or even the front of their minds. And again, just a shout out to these comps. I mean, very tricky and tough to handle. Huge cooldowns when it comes to Bond there, and then also Loki crystals. But when you have those available, they can shut down ultimates, and we saw how successful those have been here for the side of 100 Thieves on their attack. But now FlyQuest, you know what they do? They get angry and they get even as they are now attacking and pressing forward, taking that top side space instantly from them. Energy just stacking and already 70% onto alt, by far the closest to alt so far, just absolutely raining out of the back line of 100 Thieves. And wow, Terra goes down. Spark Chief with a great throw there from Cap, who can do this all day, and now is going to run right into the back line. Energy on a Millennia, popping those crystals quickly. And now Delena, though, with a nice pick onto Energy, going to try to trade that back, and that will buy them a little bit of time, but even so, there will be a starting to own this presence on point if they can find Vinny with great cooldown rotation, still maintaining presence. And wow, what a look there. Immediately back to 100% HP. His Vision now going to get matched right. Oh my goodness. The bubble to counter was absolutely disgusting there from Vess to make sure that that did not get stuck. TTK not able to make that happen.
Yeah, right now, 100 Thieves have been holding on. It's these Atom comps, man. Nobody ever goes down. Nobody ever is a casualty against this comp. And Song Inferno finally connects. Born again. Guess what, Chib? They're back in the fight.
Delena going to bring back Millennia and Harvey, who just go down. And again, that's a trade, and that's why Warlock is so, threatening in the right hands. You are using a 2-for-1 trade there with that combination of Magneto and Ensong Inferno with a Meteor M from Magneto and then the Ensong Inferno there from Phoenix. You just immediately res everyone back for 1 ult. That is a huge trade. Everybody coming back in with a ton of HP with that overhealth, and you just keep the presence forward and pressing on top of them as FlyQuest is now turning that back in their favor and again trading and taking this win as Energy is on an absolute tear with a 3-piece. But once again, I mean, they definitely bought more time there than FlyQuest did on their defense. But yeah, these comps are very difficult to get through.
Yeah, I mean, the whole Terra finds Zelos, but at the moment, yeah, it's like Energy in the high ground, kind of just sitting there. Here comes a Meteor M, but he's going to go low, has to throw it out, cannot, goes down to Vision. And yeah, at this point, Chib, I mean, the thing is with these Atom comps is that they really are just knockdown, drag-out fights. Like, you're just hoping and praying that Terra finds picks and maybe Delena. But for the most part, your sustain is unbelievable, right? And for FlyQuest, they really shouldn't play into that game. This is what the surprising factor was for them on the defense is they could have maybe played that Ultron stuff. They opted just to play the Adam Warlock and match it. But 100 Thieves kind of like when it gets dicey like that, it feels like. And now FlyQuest finally trying to, play more aggressive styles like they do with the Jeff with Ultron coming out.
Yeah, and again, they're immediately going to own this height, which is a strategy that is incredibly impactful. We saw a lot in the MRC, and not as much here, because we haven't seen this map as much, honestly, here in Stage 2 of Ignite. Coming in heavy now with Ensong. That does find a ton of equipment break. Terra going to take out Cooper. Spark Chief, though, going to find Harvey. Vision and Zelos going to get 1 and 2. Zelos getting a ton of picks there on Cloak. TTK going to make sure that pick gets traded right back, but still 100 Thieves are down a few numbers in this fight. And yes, Vision with another shot there on a TTK you talked about, where it was the Ultron that was saved, and here it is. Vision getting a ton of value now.
Yeah, he's looking very good at the moment, and for 100 Thieves, it is funny because they were also the ones that said they didn't want to play triple strategist comps. They wanted to stick to the traditional 2-2-2 style. That is 2 duelists, 2 Vanguard, and 2 strategist compositions. 100 Thieves, have been kind of forced because of the meta in this game at the moment to play the Adam Warlock stuff a little bit more. But right now, I mean, FlyQuest taking full advantage of these aggressive dives coming through from Spark Chief and from the help in the sky from Vision.
The next fight starts up now, but look at those Qs available. And as I say that, Terra falls early. Delena going to bring that whole team right back. Welcome back in, Harvey. And potentially Terra, if you can move up close enough. And there it is, as both are back in the fight. But now Spark Chief committed there with a Freedom Charge. Vess is ready too. Vision, Cooper, and Zelos all almost there as well. Harvey going to copy up, and the dance floor begins. Will this dunk matter? Oh, great movement there by Millennia. And Cooper is going to fall from TTK. The movement was crazy there. Around that box, still making it work. Good play by Millennia, who did make that transition from duelist to strategist. We talked a bit about that yesterday as well. Energy in the 1v1 situation here. Gonna have to drop out and keep that presence forward, but FlyQuest still maintaining a good presence on point. Sun goes out, landing on a Terra, keeping a good, strong ownership there of that right side peak. You talk about right angles, making sure that you're constantly peeking on the right side gives you an advantage in some of these hero shooters because you do kind of have that angle to look in quickly. And again, Energy going to find two.
Yeah, way better tempo from them. Pole came through too late from 100 Thieves, unfortunately, from Vinny. We're heading to third phase of the map. And I like how you mentioned Millennia earlier. That was insane that he lived. Like, he dodged the Meteor M, also dodged an Ensong Inferno. Well, actually got hit by the Ensong Inferno, but popped his ult at the right time where he had maximum overhealth, I guess, for it. And just lived that Ensong Inferno after the shield dissipated. Great work there from 100 Thieves, or rather from FlyQuest, to keep this cart moving. And they, like you, we have a pretty big time bank, right? 2 minutes and 30 seconds in the third phase. You don't have ults, but you can build some up. Also, you have to bear in mind, in this matchup on Phoenix, Energy has been doing well again, but this is about the point in the attack for 100 Thieves that we saw Terra started to kind of get online. So we need to see for FlyQuest fans, at least, if they can keep up this domination on Terra.
Vision gonna find that pick there. FlyQuest are looking like the team that they've always have been, but just kind of struggling in a little bit here on the defense. Vest with a two-piece on Vinny and Millennia. Delena gonna bring those numbers right back once again, though. So much value. Great positioning there with those reses. Make sure you're taking note if you play at them. Consistently finding a position where you can deal damage and then escape to get a big res. Vest is gonna find Millennia, though, and they are once again up in numbers. Vest make that two, who is again getting so many of these final hits and just ensuring they can keep numbers up. But as I say that, Terra finds Energy. Delena gonna self-res, so those numbers are now even once more. Out goes that Eternal Bond here from Zelos, walking them forward. Spark Chief and Vest find two more, and down goes TTK, and now it's all about touching with a minute and beyond. Can they hold, or will FlyQuest push this to OT?
You have to bear in mind, at least they use the combination of Vest, Energy, and alongside Cooper with the damage boost, and that was big for them last time. The swap to Captain America has been really a big change for FlyQuest, who's Spark Chief creating so much space just by himself. Freedom Charge countered super late there from FlyQuest, as they can kind of wait it out with that Ultron in the sky. Here comes a counter dive coming in from Spark Chief to force out maybe a Soul Bond.
Yeah, and that's a good call out. You kind of want to be the better, quote unquote, better alt means you've essentially used it later without any, downward loss from your team's numbers. Terra, though, finds an immediate two-piece. So committing those alts now not going to get as much value as they could not keep the presence forward. Everybody trying to drop back now, but if they fall, that is a huge dagger. Shields go up here a ton from Vest. Team dropping back, and great movement there as a unit, just playing behind that shield and not falling, resetting and coming back with 30 seconds on. One ult here for Energy. Terra with an ult. Millennia close. Harvey close. Delena's res. Vision and Vest ready. Cooper as well. And this is going to be a Q fest. But who comes out on top as we start once more into an insane battle?
I think it's going to be FlyQuest. I mean, they have the combo. They've been playing for one fight. They have the Ensong Inferno, Meteor M, also the dance floor. They can KO anybody they want here. They're just picking a target right now, looking for somebody. Harvey falls low. They're just actually getting him in the neutral. Harvey is down.
Yeah, that is a huge shot there by Vest, who was hard focused on Harvey that whole time. Vision going to find Delena again. A massive pick there, as no one will be coming back. Bang, down goes Harvey once more. Vest is playing lights out right now with these picks. Almost gets a third there, but again, Millennia coming in with that resurgence and keeping everyone healthy. Bubble on as the dance floor is there from Cooper. Vest needs to find another pick towards the back line as everybody else is maintaining presence on point. TTK gonna fall here from Cooper, and now looking at that off angle on a Millennia, who does go down at this point. The card is scooching forward. Wow, Freedom Charge out though. Could buy them valuable time here from Vinny, who is still healthy on point and still owning this space here with TTK. Again, only down one as Millennia is down, but Harvey is gonna find Vest and get some vengeance. Terra onto Energy. TTK on Zelos, and they push him on point.
Oh my God. 100 Thieves, they won map number 3. Oh, wow. Jeez, and this all comes back to FlyQuest literally almost held them in the second phase, Shib, in the defense. They were at the nick of they were at the very end of overtime, right? 2 times, back to back, they win fights that they probably shouldn't have won, but due to sheer determination and this man right here, Terra, I mean, that's a lot of KOs, right? 15 onto him. This was an absolute just back and forth brawl, and this is what we were talking about earlier, Shib. In these third maps after 1 and 2, I mean, this is when it gets real nasty back and forth between these teams.
Yeah, I mean, if you were just to look at the stats here, you would likely assume that the W goes to FlyQuest, but it's not all about KOs, especially when a Warlock is on your comp, because you will fall a ton, but it doesn't matter as long as you fall with a little bit of overcommitment of ultimates. Again, FlyQuest seemingly played so well, and they had some great defensible positions, held it for a very long time, like you had mentioned. But it doesn't matter when they get through there in OT, because the point is the point. As long as you cap and move forward, nothing matters that was behind you. So again, 100 Thieves, when they need to show up, they are showing up here, up again with a map.
And I don't know why Spark Chief swapped off of Captain America too at one point. I mean, we'll have to like look at it back. He swapped back to the Venom at the very end of their attack. And to be honest, I thought the cap was looking a little bit better. Like when we saw Vinny, and you talked about how, you know, damage and KOs don't matter. Like that's not where they don't. They're not the end all be all, right?
Yeah,
and
that's the whole story. Yeah,
exactly. Yeah, Cap creates a lot of space. He also stalls out with the Freedom Charge, right? Comparatively to Venom, if you can't find those KOs, it's pretty much over. And for FlyQuest, they were doing really well with the Captain America. That's the thing. And then on third phase, they swap to Venom. They get off of that comp originally, and it just kind of falls apart from there.
Yeah, I mean, Energy had almost a 50 bomb there in terms of elimination, 21 finals, but the MVP going over here to Terra once again with 17 finals, 52k damage is obscene. But yeah, I mean, these were absolute battles back and forth, and there was a lot of times where I would have assumed the game might end, but it doesn't. It just never ends with these teams. These teams just know how to stall for long enough to keep the fight going, and eventually you just kind of tire out in whatever position you're in, and you lose the fight after a certain period of time, and they just keep capitalizing on that.
Yeah, I don't think we've ever seen an MVP have 15 KOs, like casualties on himself. Like that's insane. Like that is, wow. I mean, that goes to show like the team play is there from 100 Thieves at the current moment. Shib, they, you know, in these overtime fights just kept clutching up, and whether that be the, you know, FlyQuest not really being fully veteraned out just yet, right? They're not necessarily the they haven't been there like 100 Thieves have, right? 100 Thieves have been through the ringer, and it shows, right? I mean, it's those intangibles that we talk about sometimes that are hard to really, you know, fully grasp. And 100 Thieves, because of that, are now up 2-1 in the series and looking to close it out potentially here on the next map. We'll see after this break.
Crush! Priceless! Feel presence!
Welcome back, everyone, and 100 Thieves clutch up and take home that map. And again, up 2-1. FlyQuest has not been in this position, and now it is their map choice as we actually are heading over to Spider Island. Just for some stats, FlyQuest is 1-0 here. 100 Thieves in this tournament have not played here just yet. So again, this is going to be a fun one to witness.
Yeah, I mean, that's going to be interesting to see if, like, we have, you know, on the flip side, some results out of them now, right? What goes on Spider Islands, 100 Thieves are quite good here, right? That's the difficulty, that 100 Thieves on Spider Islands is practice. They have a lot of time on this map, and yeah, they're pretty solid here, I think, consistently, at least throughout the other stages. And going into it, I mean, we thought we would see a lot more Spider Islands this tournament in general, or shit, but it kind of was a little bit all over the place. A lot of Hall to Jolly, I feel like.
Yeah, I agree with that. At least early on, I feel like we haven't seen Hall to Jolly together in a while. But yeah, I mean, again, this is very much one of those triple hold composition maps here, as we will see that show up in this moment. So I'm curious to see what the bans, or if the bans change at all, as we head into our next map. It is do or die here for Fly, who need to pop off.
I did not think we would see that right at the beginning of the tournament. We were talking about how good FlyQuest was, and they performed. Same thing for the 100 Thieves. However, you know, they did have some close games with Dill Ducks, or rather with, you know, executions with busy at work and stuff, right? There were some tough games they had earlier on in terms of losing a map to, like, an unsigned team, but they never lost the series. And if 100 Thieves has shown anything, it's that the map loss count doesn't really matter, right? It matters how you perform in the moment. And 100 Thieves have always been a team that sort of, I mean, it does feel like they're a team that plays down to competition, right? It really does. Like, they will play up and down to competition, right? It depends on who they're playing against any given week. And right now they're locked in versus FlyQuest, up 2 in the series. And they're getting taken to a map where we've seen them do well on before. FlyQuest going for the same ban phase yet again. And for 100 Thieves, I mean, they're fine with that Jeff ban too. Make sure Vision can't get that hero, makes some sense. And then dealing with the Ultron and making sure they don't want to play with Mantis.
Yeah, that is a smart ban. Again, always has been a smart ban in this meta. I mean, you're seeing a lot of these Mantis just pop off in and of themselves in terms of their own picks. You can deal a ton of damage, and that damage boost enables so many different things, but we've talked about that enough. The locking in Strange here, guaranteeing they can get back to point, makes a ton of sense to me. Goodbye to those Emmas to ensure you can't just brawl. Emma does a great job, and I'm sure everyone knows who has played against an Emma, you know, a favorite of mine, if you will, but she can absolutely just beat up those Vanguards and just handle them like it is her job, because it can be her job. And once that laser gets charged up, you look right towards the back line. So yeah, goodbye to that Emma, and that will not be in the selection. I'm curious to see what the variation is going to be of these triple comps.
This time Ultron getting banned out for 100 Thieves. They're fine playing against that Adam comp in the mirror. Now, what does that mean protect wise? Do we protect Adam Warlock? Do we protect, you know, something else here for 100 Thieves? Because yeah, in those Adam comps, 100 Thieves are fine in that matchup versus FlyQuest currently. However, they're getting Invisible Woman right now because of the protection. They're getting that character that they play heavily around. And on the opposite side, instead of Ultron protect coming through for FlyQuest, 100 Thieves going for that ban protect, getting the ban out of there for Jeff as well comes through from FlyQuest. So slow adjustments there from Team FlyQuest. Meanwhile, same thing for 100 Thieves, making sure no Ultron is available for their squad.
Yeah, and we are going to see the change up here. Spark Chief looking like he's going to be playing that group. Vess on the mag and Energy on the Strange. Vision is going to match back with Delena on that Warlock, like you had discussed. I think so far, well, you know, Delena likely, or at least potentially, not playing Warlock off the rip here, as they are going to have their own take of how do you beat up a triple Vanguard, triple Strategist comp. And a lot of the time, the answer to that is Storm with some sort of damage, and it looks like Storm will be played by Delena, and we had seen in the past him find some success there. As we start up now on to Spider Islands.
Yeah, I think I would have liked to maybe see you know, a little bit more emphasis of getting rid of like 100 Thieves Adam comp and stuff too. Like the Invisible Woman, it makes sense, right, to get rid of it too, to make sure that they can't have it on the opposite side. But you know, when you see that hero, or at least rather making sure you have it for your team, I wonder if it's going to pan out for the side of 100 Thieves, because when they do get that Adam matchup, right, FlyQuest haven't been able to take advantage of 100 Thieves just yet, but maybe on the defense they're starting out with that triple composition. We usually see them with the Loki, and this time maybe it's going to be with the Atom, so we're going to be seeing a ton of reses alongside that Thor that we've been seeing a lot with 100 or with MV and FlyQuest.
Yeah, it's very cool to see Thor taking a step forward. Granted, has consistently only been in these triple compositions, but it does go down early there from Terra with a great force physics to walk him right in from Millennia, and that was a difficult thing to see. Thor, a very, selfish kit, you might say, but unfortunately not able to escape that as Terra finds Cooper, and that is a quick takedown here on the side of 100 Thieves, who are just walking and keeping the presence forward. That portal's going to come in quicker than they may have wanted as Vest falls, but notice Vest does fall on point there, which is exactly what you're looking to do. Do not allow that thing to scooch forward while you are staggering and come back as a unit. So that is what we're going to see as TTK portals up.
I think
Energy.
The big thing is that both these teams are really, really good on attack. Like, most teams throughout the tournament have, shown strengths on defense, but both of these squads, they tend to win so many fights versus triple where other teams will not, and that's kind of what separates them at the moment, as ults have been built up and Vinny finds Spark Chief middle of the fight.
Yeah, teams are trying to find the obscure answer, if you will, with something like Moon Knight, who has found some success, but oh my goodness, TTK gonna follow up on a 2-3. Terra gonna get 3. Will we see more? Are you kidding me? Just walking right through now and still holding on to the Strangling Prison and Invisible Boundary and the Hurricane. That was a massive win there for 100 Thieves. Absolutely disgusting and great combo up there by TTK and Terra. The 1-2 punch, if you will, to shut down Fly again. We're going to come back with about 3 ultimates and that res from Vision.
Yeah, right now they're slowing it down, and kind of I have a point to talk about the triple composition, or rather triple 2-1 composition for both of these squads later on. Invisible Boundaries out by the Loki copy, and on the opposite side, we'll see if this Meteor M connects and slows down anything as Delena gets the overhealth.
Yeah, the Hurricane got to roll through, force out as much as possible. It was matched by the Boundary up in the sky. Goes to Lena for the chase. Great movement there, but still going to fall. Harvey gets taken out by Spark Chief. Terra going to find energy. Spark Chief on a Millennia. Vest now, Vinny. And they are up in numbers as FlyQuest does a good job on the retake. Staying calm, cool, and collected. Do not allow that second fight to mess with you, as the nature of this whole composition is to ensure 3 fights. And if you win on the 3rd fight, it is what it is. At least you're still holding, and you still have ults. Again, Vinny gonna have that Strangling Prison, but now TTK very close to another eye. Terra with the Kraken Impact as well. Energy gonna have Vault Vision with that res and Zello, so it's all on the strats here to make big plays, and Energy with a big Endsong Inferno needs to come through on the defense. 100 Thieves, if they can land that combo again, will be detrimental. It's gonna ensure that res doesn't come through as we start up with another fight here on the attack.
Yeah, we're currently seeing both teams on each other's best comps right now. Here comes Terra though in the sky. Slam dunk, meanwhile, from Vest alongside Energy. They're able to find one. High of Agamotto, but the peel is there and Terra goes down.
Yeah, well done by Energy on that mark, and great ult there by Zelos to keep the team healthy even through that combination. Eye of Agamotto comes through, immediately matched right back, and unfortunately they're not able to pressure through it. So well done by FlyQuest. Vision still has that res. Vest with the Meteor M and Spark Chief. Cooper will be ready as well, so another opportunity to use that Boundary if need be, but you might want to copy early in these fights just due to the nature of how strong these duelists are, as Terra and Delena now. Delena is going to be on the Ultron looking to pressure that backline. Millennia will have that Boundary, but that's all you'll be seeing is Delena and Millennia from 100 Thieves. 20 seconds on, they need to win this fight if they want to try to shut down and guarantee a better position on this map. Getting to point 2 enables a far better chance of success on taking the map, but it looks like FlyQuest are lights out right now as Cooper brings out that Invisible Boundary.
Yeah, slowing it down right now. FlyQuest, like you mentioned, holding on to this point quite well. Copy eventually runs out from Cooper. So that'll be an advantage for 100 Thieves if they can build up ults later on, but they use that Ultron's Rage. They need to build up quickly again. Visions, meanwhile, also dealing with Delena. These shots coming in, but Delena somehow lives in the Invisible Boundary.
Up goes the Meteor M. Nice dunk there by Vess onto Harvey. Finding that pick early is huge for Fly. Out goes the Feast, putting Terra down to virtually nothing but great movement and an even better pocket there to keep the team up. But Millennia falls after the fact there from Energy, and that is a tough spot as TTK goes down. Vision on that pick, still holding on to the Revival. Energy onto Delena. Terra comes through and finds Energy though. So maintaining that positions for this is exactly where they were on Symbiotic. Can they do it again? Keep this pressure, keep owning the space. Terra coming in with Kraken Impact, trying to get a pick here onto Cooper, not able to make that happen. It does fall as Spark Chief gets a pick. Energy finds one. The portal comes through here from TTK, and the fight begins once more. This time, no ults available at the current moment, but numbers heavily up here for Fly as Delena and Millennia fall, and the OT ticks down. FlyQuest hold on before point 1.
I jinxed 100 Thieves, I suppose, because that was an incredible defense from FlyQuest. I mean, this kind of what happens when you give Cooper, I guess, Loki, because I would hate to play against that chip. Like, this guy was never going down, always was around the map on the height. I mean, you know, like, Spider Islands is one of the hardest maps to play against a good Loki on, and at the current moment, like, FlyQuest were just dominating from that perspective. But the big thing, Chip, that I wanted to talk about earlier was, like, in these triple comps, people would just assume, okay, because they have so much sustain, because there's so much healing, right? Okay, we just want to live. That's all we got to think about, right? But you can see, at least at the highest level, at least with these two teams that are currently number 1 and number 2 in the upper bracket, they want to constantly make plays. Like, that's what a lot of people understand, is that, you know, in this game in Marvel Rivals, it's all about setting up plays, setting up each other, and you can tell a team has good communication, you know, has a good understanding of their win conditions when they are, you know, actively finding those KOs with their ultimates, right? With their, you know, combination when we see Vest come alongside Energy, right? They're constantly aware of that. So a lot of teams even have bad mentalities where they're like, okay, because we're playing a sustain comp, we just want to live. But no, you still have to set up plays like you're playing any other regular comp. It is still Marvel Rivals, and at the end of the day, it's still a hero shooter.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. Just piggybacking off of that, I mean, it's essentially a chess match. You're making the decision of, hey, who are we going to combo alts with? Are we going to commit 1, maybe 2? Do we have an answer for one of their alts? What if they combo? What's our answer for that? And you are consistently going back and forth in that thought process, in the comms, making sure you have a way through whatever obstacle is in front of you. So great call there. That is exactly what is being played at this level of play. That is exactly how they're playing with Terra. Going to find Vision now. Energy going to be on that Moon Knight we talked about. One of the potential solutions here for this triple is Moon Knight with that damage boost, as you see that right now with Terra gonna find Cooper on that Doctor Strange in the sky.
This is what I wanted out of 100 Thieves on Midtown all day enough, is to play the Thing composition, and then they want Terra on Doctor Strange. It looks like that's what he's comfortable on, because last time, yeah, when he was playing the Thing, it didn't look that like the best, I think, for the team, and Vinny on the Thing maybe feels a little bit more comfortable. That's why they're doing it, and that's why they've already won a single round or a fight, and Terra does it again.
Yeah, another early pick there on a very crucial target. Your essentially that is your, you know, damage source right there. Getting rid of energy is going to be far more aggressively, as Vinny now finds Zelos. Up goes the Meteor Rem. He turned right back on a Spark Chief, and he was still holding on to that prison, but falls again. Vinny popping off here with the haymakers back to back, just beating up the front line, and alts are roughly even.
Yeah, poor Zelos. I mean, he ulted Eternal Bond, got smashed by a Rock's fist, right? That was impressive cancellation of that ult, and maybe you can see why Vinny's playing this hero a little bit more, right? He goes for those walls, comes back to peel. Terra now sets up an Eye of Agamotto.
Oh, and 66 HP is going to fall there. Millennia going to be bringing back Vinny, but Terra will not be able to get here. It's all about finding or getting out of the point. No, Psyche, I lied. The res comes through from Delena. Everybody going to maintain this position. Try to get right back down there onto the point. Not even worry about that teleport just yet. TTK going to put up the shield, potentially eat it. Yeah, I believe it just ate the Strangling Prison, which is insane. Really well done by TTK. A ton of value there, and something that may have been missed in the moment. But Vision and Vest now going to find 1-2. TTK finds Zelos Energy with a 2-piece, 3-piece. Why don't you? Energy is going to be enough for them to walk forward, but the portal play will come through on this bridge. Oh, the counterplay.
Yeah, counter portal. Let's see if that pans out later on as they still spawn in. Vest scouting out forward. That'll be interesting to watch. But yeah, in Rivals, like, sometimes the tough part is with, like, eating a Strangling Prison. You know, it's all about wombo combos. Ults are so good, right? Where you kind of, even if you shut down one, there's still a follow-up there, because that's the entire game plan. You know there's going to be strategy ults on the opposite side. Terra switching over to that Wolverine now. 100 Thieves deviating their stuff up a little bit here, Shib, as they set up a re-engage.
Yeah, I guess they're electing to make this essentially a 2-fight with respawn potential if Delena can get that ult back, and just removing the Strange, putting Terra there onto the Wolverine. And Terra has been a disgusting Wolverine in the past. Delena gonna find Spark Chief now early on, putting 100 Thieves back up in numbers, and that's a good start there for them with a minute on. Can they hold this closer and take home the W here against potentially the 1 seed? It actually is the 1 seed, as FlyQuest have been playing insane so far in stage 2.
I mean, what we saw there, like, Delena gets the KO, but it sort of happened off screen. Terra dragged him out towards the coast. Like, he just ripped away Spark Chief. Now Spark Chief's over to that Venom from that fight, and, you know, unfortunately for him, yeah, Terra shuts him down, but they still have Invisible Woman versus this Wolverine. Terra, I mean, could he put a staple, or could we finally have that staple match on Wolverine to end the series with 40 seconds left to go for 100 Thieves?
And this could be the danger zone here. Spark Chief going to dive the back line now onto the Warlock, trying to find that pick. Not able to make that happen just yet. TTK holding this position now. The last stand goes out and not able to get much value. Great maneuvering there by the back line of FlyQuest, playing lights out through that insane ultimate, as that is going to be a problem for them. TTK going to get walked in here by Cooper.
Yeah, they use the overlayer stuff, though. They use the soul bomb. They also commit that Fate of the Worlds. Harvey gets resurrected by BRB. Here comes that Magneto from the high ground. Vision goes down, but he has the self-res.
Yeah, self-res is up. Vision also has team res to keep them on point. 4 seconds on. They're going to make sure that touch comes through. It looks like it is now. It was looking dicey there for a moment, but they did make that happen. Vision self-res through exactly like you had mentioned, and the entire team will be back now. If anyone goes under, Energy back in the fight. Will FlyQuest maintain this position? Alts up here, roughly even with 3 and 3, but Delena has the team res, and we know what that can do as it's launched now. Terra goes down, comes right back into the fight here after the fact. Delena on this high side. Millennia finds a pick on a Vision. Energy onto Harvey. The trades begin. Delena gonna bring back Harvey though, as again they were up in numbers. Oh my goodness. Delena onto Zelos, playing lights out now onto the Warlock. Do we see one more? 100 Thieves take home the W and take out FlyQuest.
Oh my God. Both of these teams are huge props. But 100 Thieves are in the grand final, Shib, in waiting.
Wow.
For the next team in FlyQuest or the opposite side of either Dark Zero and Envy. And oh my God, Terra MVP.
That was an absolutely insane battle. 100 Thieves just showing up here at the end of stage 2 in these playoffs and looking like a refreshed, disgusting team and consistently making big plays. You gotta show them respect. As every single one of these final fights, they're always coming out on top, even with split alts, roughly even across the board, just always getting more value. 15 finals there from Terra to clutch up the MVP.
And they've done it again, Shib. This has been the most consistent team in Marvel Rivals history, right? Hands down, without a shadow of doubt, right? Besides Virtus Pro and EMEA, and then, you know, besides Virtus Pro, that's it. I mean, 100 Thieves, every single tournament, stage 1, they make the grand finals. Stage 2, they make the grand finals. And Shib, my goodness, we're here today, which, by the way, that is more consistent than VP, because guess what? VP didn't even make it to freaking LAN last time. So, man, I mean, that goes to show, you know, what getting to these top seeds really does for you, right? Because they get that second seed last time. They don't have to go through those qualifiers and have tough matchups as that third seed, like NB kind of did, right? And this team, I mean, time and time again, keeps playing to a high level in MRC in the War of the Realms when they were back on controller. Most of them except TTK. I mean, this has been the best North American team in history of Marvel Rivals esports, and I think it's fair to say, with Sentinels disbanding and also, or not disbanding, but breaking up, going to Dark Zero, and then leaving out of this midseason, going away, this has been the best team in North America, and I don't think it's close.
It's just been insane battles back and forth. And again, I think potentially the underdogs, but proven to everyone that they need not be underestimated. This team is disgusting. Terra here, 15 finals as discussed, 24 KOs, 22k damage on a 1-point map is wild. Switching over from Strange there after that counter portal, coming right back as Wolverine and just shutting down Fly when they needed to. Heading to the grand finals is wild.
I mean, give these guys their flowers, right? At the current moment, 100 Thieves have been that team. And, you know, Envy, you could talk about how well they played at midseason, but during these qualifiers, during just these North American matchups, it seems like 100 Thieves just always gets the number of their other squad, Chib. Is there, I don't know, is this some sort of aura they have against their own, like, nationality? Like, what's going on here that 100 Thieves have been doing so well? But we already have our interview a player ready to go. I believe we got Vinny on the line with 100 Thieves. Congrats, man, on a W. You're in the grand finals again. Stage 2. You've done it back to back.
Yo, back to back win. I don't think a single person has believed in us except our team. Everyone picks against us.
That's what matters.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, you're proving everyone that maybe doubted how strong you guys are as a unit. It goes to show you a team that sticks together like this, as Remix in the background getting hyped up. A team that sticks together like this, you guys, your synergy is just insane. It seems like you're clutching up on these super intense, very high pressure situations, these fights. The question I want to lead off with you, bud, is you took down FlyQuest, a team that teams nobody has been able to do. What was the secret there? What do you attribute it to?
I mean, just getting the band phase right, just clearing our comms. Like the map that we lost, you could just like, you could tell we just like weren't right, you know?
Yeah, that makes sense. And you guys,
huge part.
Oh yeah, no, go on about it. So what about the ban phase is the biggest part? Like, I mean, you guys, like you said, you perfected it today, and it looked like Remix and Terra and you, I imagine, doing a lot of the banning phase of like, what was behind that? Why was it so good today?
I mean, you just got to see what other teams banned versus them before. Like NB tried tanks, other teams tried DPS. We did supports this time around, just depending on the map, right? But I think what we found today worked pretty well. But the spawn hold maps they're so close. The spawn hold maps are very close.
Yeah, the 0.1 hold is so crazy. It's always so intense to watch. I'm sure you guys will see that, how back and forth and how crazy it gets with some of these huge plays. I just following up on all this stuff, man. You guys clearly perfected the ban phase. You're heading into the grand finals, which is a huge achievement. Walking through the top side of the bracket there is wild. Obviously, you got some option coming up here. Is there any team you particularly, are worried about? But at this point, you've taken out everyone. Is there any team you'd rather not see in the finals against you guys?
I mean, we've beaten everyone. I would prefer to see FlyQuest because I like those guys better. But
touche.
Fair play, and Vinny.
Yeah, then I listened to the interview earlier with Kaluj, and he said we were horrible. We were going to get 3-0'd, and he wanted to see us. I mean, now to see us, he has to beat the team that has already beaten them twice.
You're right. You're sending him to the fire, man. That's insane. Like, I mean, can you talk about how you and 100 Thieves have stuck together, through thick and thin, throughout all of these tournaments, throughout the year? Kind of like with Sentinels, people were talking. They were like, okay, are people leaving 100 Thieves potentially? What's going on? You guys mostly stick together. You pick up a new player in Nuck, and then you obviously play well with Millennia. What goes into being such a consistent team in Marvel Rivals, especially with the volatility that goes behind the scenes in the esports scene?
I mean, it's just practice. It's practice, and you got to stick to it. Like I would say, we had some pretty rough weeks in the last month in scrims. Like we couldn't win a scrim to save our life, but that didn't really deter us. We just got to keep playing. You got to learn the meta. You got to learn new characters. If you're stuck on the same characters forever, you'll never progress. So you just have to continue to learn the meta.
Absolutely, and we've seen you succeed a ton. We were giving you some love over these last few days to some of these big plays, Venom, these group plays, a ton of big success and follow-ups there. And curiosity in terms of the meta from the front line, where do you put Groot and Venom? Is it just comp dependent? I know you've been switching back and forth kind of depending on the moment. Can you kind of break down for me when you like to play those heroes, just for a Vanguard understanding, in general?
It's usually Caught. Groot is not that strong. You want to play a dive tank that could juggle the point, that could just roam around. Groot is more of those just payload front to back where you prefer to play. It's all map dependent, but I'd say those two characters are very strong right now.
Awesome. You guys
makes a lot of sense. Well, it looks like. Do you have some people back there that want to chat or something? It looks like Remix has something he wants to say, or something. He's hovering behind you. Dude, he's lurking. He's lurking behind there. What's up? What's up, Coach Remix? Vinny gave us an excellent interview.
The whole world Dadarus. What now? What are you guys gonna say now? Come on. Wow, Kalush, I'll be waiting for you up here, bro. Hope you make it up here.
I love it. Getting hype. Again, I think you guys just do a great job of, you turn some of that maybe negativity you receive and just go crazy and consistently show up. And that's a trait that team all own. And, you guys are consistently showing that you do have that ability. So you cannot be stopped. Thank you so much, as always, Vinny, for your time. You're always great to interview. Do you have anything you want to say once more before we say goodbye to you?
Oh, shit. I mean, I just want to say, really good games to FlyQuest. They are a tremendous team, and I feel like we're going to see them again tomorrow.
Awesome. I appreciate it. Thanks, Vinny, man. I appreciate you.
Awesome, guys. Thank you, guys.
Alrighty. Appreciate you.
Thank
We'll
you.
see you soon. And congrats again. Wow, what a battle there. 100 Thieves. They are underestimated, I have to say.